away, take. I can't play b4 because I'll lose that pawn, or will I? Let's try. b4, take, rook here, king a5. I don't reckon this is very good winning chances, but my d-pawn's going to have to be a decoy. But I really can't afford to move my queen away too far, or my king will be very exposed, and probably there'll be some sort of perpetual with the two rooks. So is this better? Not much. So okay, how do we do better here? Rook c2, king g2, or they say king e2. So they say that's a draw after rook g3. So rook f3 is bad. So rook c2, which is our other move, king g2, b5, indeed, king h3, take. Why is black winning this? Queen c3. If you double, oh, we take a3. Okay, but if you go here, then it's not as good. Definitely not as good. In fact, they say the difference is 4. So although you have to be a bit careful to win this, I also don't know why George is spending so much time on this move. I guess it came as a shock. So good chances to win. This one, wow, I hope they're at move 40, because otherwise something's gone terribly wrong for Lee. So let's see. Is Tedrick, sorry, the Lee that's playing white. So is Tedrick Lee going okay here? We left it after this really weird plan of begging for double pawns. And he decided not to do it. And now he does the same stupid thing, but without the double pawns. So instead of having a G pawn on f5, he's just given black everything. Okay, he wants to go here to win that pawn. Unfortunately, there's a d4 pawn also hanging. So he didn't get it. Why didn't he take it? Not sure. Maybe because he's going to get it anyway with bishop d4 if he needs to. And black is not worse here, but he decides to go for I'd like to be better. And bishop e3 is super risky. But Kien is short of time. Whoa. Okay, take, check, king here. I think if I were white, I would probably want to take back on c1 and let them take on d5 and make a draw if they really wanted to. Because I reckon my knight on f6 is worth a rook, and but the d pawn's going to be pretty good. Instead, he took, and after bishop f4, I was thinking bishop b2 was pretty good, but bishop f4, he's going to get 2 pawns for 1, and it looks really, really good. So the d pawn's great, but I must admit after f5, it's not going to be so great. So let's play bishop e7. If d6, I just want to go f5. And my king can come across if f7, so I really don't have a problem. So bishop e7 is good. Even bishop d6 will win all the rook endings. Tedrick Lee is on the verge of taking down the 6th seed. And he is actually in line for an international master norm if he can win. He has already beaten Darragh Johansson. He has beaten Gary Lane, so they are 2 title players already. He drew with Ranch Chakrabarti. And remember, Tedrick Lee is 15 years old and 14th seed, so he certainly wasn't expected to do so well. However, there was an inkling because he played in the Oceania Junior Championships in December. He won the under-18 division, and for that, he gets an international master title. I think his rating is on the edge of already high enough to be awarded it the next time the FIDE have a meeting. So maybe I am norm is not what he wants. Maybe he wants to win the tournament. But in any case, he will be the only guy chasing Yi Liu at the moment. Of course, George C is around there to try to take people down, but he's going to drop down again and have to work his way back up. So it's still no move. Oh, it's move 41. That's the thing. So he's trying to make the best of it, but he will have a pretty depressing two rooks against queen ending. Ryder Tesselin and David Cannon are still going, and well, first thing I should say is Tesselin is still alive. He was not mated, so that already is a clear bonus on what he could have had, because we left it around here. E5 followed by 94 was just about game over. Instead, after h4 rook 8, we can at least get one of the attacking pieces off the board. He played e5 anyway, and now he takes the queens off, and what might have been a disaster is now not quite so bad. Now, of course, white should be better here, but this is tricky. You're going to have to use your light square bishop to stop that pawn, and it won't be so easy to attack the pawn with your dark square bishop either. So rook here, f3, and now we've got to find a good way to maneuver our knight to swap off that knight on b1. Not so simple. I guess bishop d2, bishop c3 is the main threat here. If black could safely eliminate one of white's kingside pawns, then even if you got b2, it wouldn't be so bad. But it looks like whenever you take that e5 pawn, you're going to walk into tactics. So that's not so great. One of the big problems for black here is black can't use his king actively, even to swap pawns. So, oh yeah, I don't know about rook a4 because, bishop d2 is and bishop c3 is a serious threat. And I can't see a way for that black knight to maneuver to get out of there. Maybe knight b3 to go to d4 or c5. For example, if bishop c2, I want to go back to a1 after knight b3. And then, yeah, maybe I can get to a good square. Maybe. So all the chances with David Cannon, but his clock's not great, and I would say a draw was probably the most likely result. Then on board 5, Sterling Baker has bounced back after that really tough defeat on board 1. They've got we left it when it was just a very, very weird sort of dragon opening, but Baker is at least happy with this because he's got the pair of bishops. Now, why not g5 here and force bishop takes e5 and get opposite bishops? I'm not sure. Suddenly that bishop can get away, and white has just that bit of pressure on d6, and suddenly, yeah, I think he overlooked queen f3, because if you lose f7, you're in all sorts of trouble, and that's what happened. And now the position is just pretty bankrupt. I think he was thinking he could go e3 here, but just bishop e5 is good enough, and that pin is going to force you to move away. So he got out of that, but now bishop e5, nice trick, and everything's over. So Sterling Baker beats the Sydney former Australian junior champion, goes to 5 points by beating Melbourne's Leo Kalina. So we don't have too many top games left. We saw Sukaji win that end game already. We saw Harvey Zhu win. Daniel Wang has lost to John Papantonio. We thought it was looking dodgy here. After queen d4, he played knight h6, which doesn't look that hopeful. I was thinking bishop check was good, but he's allowed the queen check. He could have gone queen h6. Why didn't he? He wants to threaten mate. And now he takes, and now he wins the rook. So a really heavy defeat for 14-year-old Daniel Wang, who was coming good in this tournament, but John Papantonio, who started so well and lost 3 in a row in the middle, is back in business, back on 50%. Zhang Qilin It's still not won her pawn, which is a bit strange, but she's still better, but I don't think this is losing for 15-year-old Ted Power anymore. Gary Lane, well, that game is over, I believe, isn't it? Oh no, Gary is actually playing on. No, he's not. Surely not. Oh, come on. I thought this had been agreed to draw, but maybe they're just looking at moves after the game. So that one's over. Heather Richards beat Barman Kargosha. Now this is another of classic Heather Richards swindle because she was in all sorts of trouble here. This just looked horrible. Those centre pawns moving down the board. She found knight b5 to set up some tricks. Rook d8 is good. Bishop b7, and then bishop a6. And that sets up bishop takes c4, knight b6, check actually winning. And somehow, even though white's pieces can't really move, as long as black can't take that pawn on c4, she's okay, which means probably king f6 is the right move here, and probably it's almost falling apart. Rook a8 was played, and knight c7. And all of a sudden, knight e6 is coming, then bishop b7 and bishop d5, and white will just be better. So he tries the exchange sack, but those pawns just keep on coming. So c6 now, king d2, and that pawn's pretty dangerous. If you go rook c6, we're just going, oh, what are you? Rook c6 is probably the right move actually. I can't go rook b6 yet, so most probably that's going to be a draw. Now he tries with tactics, and he resigns because his pawns aren't going anywhere, and c6, c7 certainly is. So Richards wins from a desperate position, goes to 4.5, and Johansson, both of them are short of time. Johansson's got to an ending where he does stand better. But has he just... Okay, so probably he stands much better, actually. The bishop on h3 is a bit stupid if you're not going to take the knight. But if you do take the knight, then you've got to go knight d2, and you're more or less frozen. Black is much better. So Johansson has converted. Let's see, we left it around here. So Johansson just improves his position little by little, takes the rooks off, takes the queens off. And he's just got pressure. That 2 against 1 on the queen side is not worth much. Admittedly, it's not easy for black to create a passed pawn. Okay, he's doing that in order to play knight h2, I suppose, and give away the e pawn for the g pawn. But it doesn't help white much to have a kingside majority because black's king is in front of it. It certainly helps black to be able to play e5, d5, and so on. So after you go knight h2, bishop takes pawn, knight takes pawn, we'll settle that bishop on c3, and then we'll start pushing the pawns. So Johansson should win this against Odenthal. Back to our top game. He has got this position with where he has to give up his queen. King f2 is definitely the most accurate move. And then you has to be accurate to win it, but they think it's very close to winning. And Tedrick Lee, surprisingly, is very, very close to winning this one. So where can that knight go that doesn't allow it to be swapped off? It's not easy at all, but the rook ending will be trivial. We blockade the d pawn and just push those connected pawns. So I think our 6th seed is in all sorts of bother. They've reached move 40, so you can have time to think. I don't want to go knight h3. I can't go anywhere from there. g5 is pretty good. I don't want to go d6 because that pawn falls off the board, and I don't have counterplay. He could easily resign here. This is probably +3, even more. At easy rook ending going to be 2 pawns up. So Tedrick Lee is going to be the only player on 6 points after this round, which is pretty incredible for the 14th seed. There are a lot of people chasing, but he is going to win. And the one really tricky ending is between international master David Cannon and soon to be international master, Ryder Testerlin. So here we go. This is the best I've been able to do for black. You've certainly managed to cut off the white king from getting to the pawn, but you have also cut off the white knight from doing anything at all. So the only way that white's going to win this, I think, is by pushing those kingside pawns, creating a passed pawn, and supporting it with the two bishops, while white is not moving. That's a big ask, actually. But every white piece is on a perfect square. The question is, will they be able to stay on perfect squares if white pushes the pawns? But certainly white has a big advantage here. If the black knight can't come out, and I don't think the black knight can come out. Maybe on c1, but as soon as you play knight c1, there'll be bishop to c3, and that will be a real problem, because you do not want to lose that pawn. So you'll have to time things really carefully. Once the pawns move to a certain point, move your rook somewhere, not that you have a great square, and then try to swap the b pawn for one of those center pawns. I don't think it's possible. So king g8 played. Yeah, the king can't even walk in, so I don't see that black will benefit by bringing the king to b3 or anything like that. George C, it's move 40, so George, no, it is move 40. So George's clock will he'll get an extra 30 minutes after he makes his move, but it isn't promising. So not too many games going, but still we want to follow that queen against two rook ending. Gary Lane must have finished, but it hasn't. I don't know why Gary Lane's playing this on, but obviously he's seen something. In the reserves, John Stewart Plant has just been taken down 2 leaders in a row. So the St George, multiple St George champion is doing very well. William Rumley, Tasmanian champion, in fact, the Tasmanian player from who's done really well in a lot of Tasmanian events this year. I reckon he's going to get a draw here. That is an achievement. So after rook h8, a3, he did give up these pieces, and now we have this ending, and in fact, it's already more or less the one we've got, and it's going to be a draw. You can get your pawn to f5, even to f4, but that's about it, I suspect, because white king can always go king e4. Now, if the dark bishop could get to c2, it would not cause any problems, because we just go king c4 and take the b pawn. So there's just no way to really make progress here. So yeah, it must be a draw. So well, that's good for both of them, given how hard the tournament's been up to now. As expected, John, Jack Rogers has won. Both players are trying to win. Well, Ethan Cheng's doing a better job of trying to win. 2 New South Wales juniors. Ethan Cheng certainly doing fine with his knight on c4, but honestly, I don't see too many prospects of playing for a win. Got to be very careful about bishop d7 if your queen strays too far. And white's knight's about to go to f3. So that looks like it's definitely going to be a draw. Ted Power is trying to swap off some pawns, which is a good idea, so that Jillian is not even a pawn up. Well, she decided not to take the pawn. This one is drifting. Oh, is this drifting to a draw, or is that a free pawn? Let's see. If we take with the queen, there's going to be queen d3. But if we take with the pawn, that might be a free extra pawn. So c5, with half a minute left, was a bit careless. Suddenly, +1, +1.5, +2. So Jilin is not drawing anymore. And yeah, she'll play b4 or d4. It'll work really, really well. Back to George. He has moved on board 1. He went to g2. He is calculating that rook g3 is not mate. I disagree, but let's see. So rook takes here, check. Rook c2, of course, is not bad. Rook takes here, check. So from what I can see, you can either go f1 or h1. Let's go f1 and just see. Check. Queen here. Check. King here. Oops. And that's a bit unfortunate because there's rook b4 check. So that is not working. Okay, what else can we do? We could go rook f3 check, but then you go e2 and we really don't have a good move. So I have to go queen here check. I have to go queen here check. And that's it. And that is winning for white. So I think George has calculated this well enough that he has to go rook c2. And then at least we get our king out of danger. So it's still the queen c3 move that's pretty annoying though. Just tying those rooks up so that they can't double on one of the pawns that you've got. So rook a2 looks sort of forced. Well, rook d1 is possible, I guess. And now I'd like to play d4, but I want to improve my position to the maximum before I do it. So that involves playing b5 first. And then you still can't move that rook. If you go rook here, I'm going to fork the rooks again. You still can't go rook d2 because the queen takes pawn. Rook here. And now d4 looks pretty good, but I'm tempted to go here first. And now d4, you've got rook b2. But then I go queen a1. So what about king a5? Better bit by bit. If you go here, I'm going to just annoy you. You can't use that rook on a2 anymore. And if you use the other one, well, I guess you can use the other one. But rook to the back isn't helping much. Now I can go somewhere useful, can I? I would like to, but what about d4? I don't trust d4, to be honest. Yes, but maybe. Might be winning. Yep, actually winning. Okay, if you can get away with that, you're winning this ending easily. So, okay, so king g2, he's just got to resist, and he did resist. So that's the position we've got to in real life, and yeah, so queen c3 makes sense, but so does b5. Yeah, b5, king a5, it means he can get away with all sorts of things. So he is on the path to victory. That could take a while. And yeah, Li Tritien is about to get hit by g4, I guess. And then he has to go into a rook ending. But maybe if king g3, black isn't going to do it immediately, but we'll play, say, h5 here, or something like that. And king e5, and f4, or even h5, h4, and g4. Actually, that's pretty good. So I was expecting white to resign, but that resignation might take a little while. Here, after rook d3, I'm just going f4, king f5, king e4, that sort of thing. So that knight on h3 will be swapped off, which means that it is a rook ending and it is a losing rook ending. So that is already game over. What's that?
Not even Tarish.
No, not even Heather Richards. So, okay. Play continuing. White is trying to improve his king before he pushes his pawns. Perfectly reasonable idea. And bit by bit, so we know all those games are over. So just a reminder of what's finished. We've still got 3 of the top 4 games going, including the leader, Yi Yu, who looks like he's going to 7 out of 8. Further down, though, we have had results on board 3, a draw by Trevor Tao against Fran Chakrabarti. Any comments, Trevor, on the game?
I think I didn't get what I wanted from London. I was worried at one point Black would play after bishop x e5, bishop x e5, knight x3, bishop d3. Is that possible or not?
Let's have a look. So this is Trevor Tao talking about his game against 11-year-old Fran Chakrabarti. We're going right back before the ending.
Could I play d3 for my
Bishop takes what?
Sorry. The bishops on f5, on e6, on f5, sorry. Yeah. I tried to analyze without a board because I couldn't find a board. So, yeah.
And this ending turned out to be completely wrong.
Yeah.
So, not really. Yeah, your comment? Was d4 played to make a draw, or? You missed bishop takes e5 and knight f3. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in theory, I agree, but still, it's very drawish after d4. So, what other moves were you looking at? Queen c6 or something, and then queen c8. See what happens. Yeah, a lot of these positions, they're not really much better for black, even though they look nice. One day the d5 pawn can get a little bit exposed. So, yeah, there is a plan of taking that d5 off the board as soon as you can. But I think you must have been pretty happy to see d4 because by force you get an ending that you can't lose, and you might be a little bit better. I don't know, but maybe you have to take it really slowly, put your king on c3, something like that. That might be hard to get to, but I didn't see anything much on the king side. And once that king gets to g6 and the pawn gets to b4, it's genuinely nothing. Of course, if the rooks came off, it'd be close to winning, but the rooks aren't coming off. So, and in fact, Black activated his rook, and after that, it really was necessary to worry about losing some kingside pawns. Pawn on h6 is great, but if he can't play f4, his king's tied down, and Black did precisely nothing, and they agreed to draw. I presume Black can't play for a win here. Even if you go b5, b4 and put your rook on c3, it's not going to take it. So, yeah, probably just a draw. And in the opening, it was, as Trevor said, it was just a London system. So did you consider bishop f5 here, Raj? You can actually in some lines. It's really hard to trap. Okay, can you imagine what the computer thinks White's best move is here? The computer says you should play bishop a6. And that is the most ridiculous move on the board. But it says you should play bishop a6 because it thinks Black is close to winning, and it wants to castle really fast. BCD, yeah, that is the main line, indeed. And this sort of position is really interesting. But yeah, you haven't got e5 yet. You can play knight ft7 and e5. They can play bishop b5. It's totally unclear. You could also take on c5 with the. Oh no, you can't take on c5 with the queen. Yeah, this line is probably equal. But there's one Sydney player, Daniel Melamed, who has played this successfully on the white side. He knows what he's doing in these endings, but they shouldn't be anything special. So yeah, so instead bishop g4, and we got a slightly more boring position than that. But in the end, black made an easy draw. Quick check if Johansson is close to winning yet or not. Hang on, let's play count the pawns. Very interesting. So the only way black can win this is to put pawns on e5 and d5 and d4, and put the king on d5, play e4 and king c4. It's still tricky. You might need an f pawn as well. I don't know. So we have two extra central pawns, but they're not passed pawns. So pushing them further might be very hard. So I can imagine we get our king to c4. We can knock you away so that you either have to, you have to go to d2. So white will need to at least defend one of those queenside pawns. So let's have a look. Okay, king e8. Oh no, we'll play e5 first. I know I need it on e5. So, king moves. Next question, do we want to push that pawn? And I'm not sure. I don't have to do that, but I think I want to. And this is where I'm just not sure.
You need to shout out come a little further.
Okay, let's go here. I'm happy.
Why don't you just give us the 8 pawn?
Okay. That means you probably have to give up that pawn on a3. That's okay. Yep, I want to play f5 sometime. I'm not sure if my bishop is on the best square on f3, but the general idea will be to play f4. But we're not getting through immediately. We're not getting through, in fact, when your bishop's on c5, and we're not getting through when your bishop's on d6. Oh, yes, we are. Okay, let's pass. I don't know how I can pass, but I will. king. No. Okay, how do I pass? I'll play f4 now. So if bishop takes, I'm taking that. That still probably is not winning, unfortunately, because he can go bishop somewhere like here. Oh no, hang on, he's getting, that is going to be winning. I have to stop him a bit earlier. So bishop here maybe. King a4. King, yeah, I'm not getting in. King here. If I go b3, I have no entry squares. Except f3. You never know. Maybe I can get around that way sometime. Let's try. Oh, sorry. I had to stop it earlier. Yep. Hang on. b3. King c3, then bishop here. There's a bit of a problem. Bishop f4.
And I just get to
Okay, I've got to come around the other side.
and then why can you just go to a2
Oh, king a3, sorry. Ah, okay, so I can't play king c3, I have to keep moving. I want to get to c4. Oh, hang on. No, what about d2? Oh no, you get back to e3 later. So I can't quite get, I'm trying to play e3 at the right moment, but you're holding both pawns, so it should be a draw. Really tricky though. Anyway, so Johansson, I wonder if he's trying to get his king to d5 without pushing that d6 pawn. And then a bishop e4 check, and maybe he'll get f5, f4 at some point. But even that may not work. Anyway, the idea for black is to somehow decoy those, to get connected pawns, to play f5, f4 if you can. So maybe putting the pawn on e4 is wrong. And then when they take it, you play g3, and when they take it, you have connected pawns in the middle. You're giving away a lot of pawns, but it still looks like it could be good. Computer is, oh dear. Oh no, it's going up to -2. If it grows, then it should be winning. But it's stuck at -2.6. That's not a good sign. And they're actually saying you need to play a4. So why is that? Still -2.7. Okay, they want e5. This is the line we looked at. d5, bishop here. Check, big deal. Here. Bishop back. They're going to get out of position anyway. So they're saying this is -3.5. Presumably they've found a way to win, but I'll just sit tight and see what happens. Okay, big deal. And now it's f4. f4 takes g3, I think. Takes e4. Should be winning. Because we are getting our pawns to the 6, which is almost always winning. Now, white can create a lot of decoys here, but they're probably not working. So the fact that the computer likes this is a pretty good indication that there is no defense. Opposite colored bishops used to be the one ending that computers played very poorly. When Michael Adams got absolutely crushed 5.5 by a computer called Hydra, which is, I believe, now running the UAE public transport system, the computer programmer, who was an Austrian, although the computers were all from the UAE, and they learned how, it was the first chess computer that effectively synced a whole lot of computers together without them repeating variations, without them overlapping with each other. And it turned out to be an absolutely super machine. It beat Adams. I think the prize money was per point, which wasn't so good when you get a half out of 6. And he got £12,500, I think. It's not terrible, but he would have expected to get more. The one game he did draw was a really good positional exchange sacrifice. But the programmer said there were just a handful of things that computer didn't play well, and one of them was opposite colored bishop endings. Also, the other thing about the programmer was he really didn't program. He just put the rules of the game in, much the way AlphaZero did much later, and he didn't accept an offer from ChessBase to use Fritz or anything like that. It was just a program that could play chess, and without any human prejudgments or anything like that. And it did phenomenally well. Unfortunately, just like the computer that beat Kasparov, it got shut down immediately after the match. It was just an experiment, and so we didn't see Hydra ever again. But it was the first indication that computers were going to become really, really, really good, and so he did. Okay, so Johansson should be winning that ending. A quick look to see if Ted Power has gone down yet. Yes, he did, after blundering that pawn in time trouble. Queen check. We saw it after he lost that pawn. And now, to be honest, White's got the chunkiest of pawns. So she should be able to do really well. And already d4. So Queen here, there's pins everywhere. Just got to make sure she doesn't get mated. And and Ted has resigned. So Zheng Zhilin wins, finally gets back up to, I think she's up to 50%, but it hasn't been her tournament at all. Our top 2 games is still going. I'm surprised about board 2. But Black has tied the white rook to the A pawn. Okay, so here, I guess Queen C3, you should double on the D pawn. But we've got King C4 and then D3. That all looks really, really good. And some of these endings, as we saw before, are going to be winning even if Black gives up the queen. But here, King C4, we can play B. Well, let's say you double here. King here, king across. D3 looks a bit dodgy, but let's do it. No, let's play B4. A3, and it's hard to see White hanging on here, although I didn't really want you to play B5 and get some counterplay, but I'm not too worried. Maybe it's good. Take. A2. Is that game over? It is 2. Yep, so take, A2, game over. The 2 queens defense does the job. So he doubles here. At least then B4 is not a serious break, but I can go D3 and King D4 now, which looks pretty good. Really good, actually. Keeping the white king from getting close. And yeah, it should be completely winning. So George is playing on, but it's not looking good. Hang on, let's just pick somewhere. Okay, and Tedrick Lee is completely winning. How did it happen? Takes, take, oh, rook check first. Don't quite see the point, but okay. Takes that. G4, F3, H3 is a good try, but after King F4, it is game over. If you take King G3, you must play Rook C1 to avoid mate. Then we go check, run away, Rook here, you've got to stop Rook mate, F2 check, and Rook check, and wins that Rook. So I think it's finally time. Is it finally time for him to resign, or can he go keep Rook C4? Rook D2 check. Oh, not even stalemate. Okay. Yep, I can't even do that. So I have to go somewhere else. Still, and then King here works. Yep, so it's all good. So has he moved? Takes, King here, Rook back, check. And he will resign. He has resigned, I think. But yeah, so a big win for our 14th seed, Hedrick Lee. He is now the only player. In fact, he is a point clear of third place, which is pretty amazing. So we will have a strung out leading field in terms of points. So Yi Liu will be on 7 points after he wins his endgame against George C. On 6 will be only Tedrick Lee, and then on 5.5 we will have Trevor Tao, Ranj Chakrabarti, the winner of this game, and I don't know what's going to happen here, but White's going to win, is he? There's no way for that rook to attack the E5 pawn. White's winning, so David Cannon will be up on 5.5. Oh, okay, the only one who's half a point. Hang on. Trevor Tao's on 5.5, Ranj Chakrabarti is only on 5. David Cannon will go to 5.5, and then you have a huge pack on 5. They include Li Tri Kien, who went down to Tedrick Lee, Sterling Barker, who beat Melbourne's Leo Kalina. So another Sydney player, Harvey Zhu, beat another Melbourne player, Jesse Zafarakis. And then we're down to the 4.5s, George C, Sukai G. Well, so that's C3, C4. Heather Richards is 4.5 now, and Daryl Johansson will be up there. So in fact, you're probably going to see your Sukai Gs, your Daryl Johansson starting to float up to the top seeds, and that could be really interesting because it only takes one loss at the moment for them to fall back. Okay, here I guess King B1 followed by Knight A4 is the idea. And the only chance here for Black is going to be to play F6, take with the King, put the King on F4 and play Rook takes F3. If you can do that fast enough, life's good. So let's see if you can do it fast enough. Okay, but maybe you could start with, okay, let's start with F6. Takes. Knight D1 gains the tempo. That is sad. That is super sad. Got to go here. Knight takes, King here. King moves. King here, check. Oh, I can never do it anyway because of G5. So absolutely win. David Cannon will win.
David not this time.
He was a piece up.
He was a piece up.
It was 2 pieces for a rook up.
2 pieces for rook up, yeah.
Yeah. He was always doing well. In fact, he could have, oh, sorry, wrong game. He could have won much more quickly. around here
Oh, yeah.
with just e5. You can't take it. Sorry, not here. A little earlier. Here, e5. You maybe have to take it, but then queen takes h6, wins another pawn. Otherwise, knight e4, and the whole position is going downhill very, very, very fast. But he didn't muck it up in the end. He hung on. With still a little bit of work to do, I guess. He's taking his time now. There's another plan here that might be really, really good, and that's just king e4 and put the king on f5. And in response, white is going to have to put a king on h3 to keep the other king out. And then your rook will not be able to leave the back rank because it mates on h1 all the time. So that also looks pretty good. So king e4, he's obviously considering that.